It's time to go beyond the headlines, cause I don't put in overtime just so I can headline. Okay, now it's Fox Sports, I'm live with Renee. Going hard every day, sports rapping every play. Different segments for your favorites, coming at you daily. With positive vibes, yeah, we some game changers. Basketball, football, soccer, with different interviews, you never know who may pop up. Listen, only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines. Only on Beyond the Headlines, this is Beyond the Headlines with Renee Washington.
We are live yet again with another very special edition as we have the incredibly talented, multi-talented at that, Cheyenne Parker from the Atlanta Dream on the show. Welcome, Cheyenne. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
I am so happy to have you here. You are the CEO of your own business. You were recently able to just sign a great deal to the Atlanta Dream. You are in a very big part of your career, so I'm excited to take a step back and kind of look at all that you have going on. But before we even get into the professional side of things, I know you're in the midst of a lot of chaos, packing, moving, changing, preparing to travel, as we were talking about before the show gets started. But what's been going on for you as we are halfway through Black History Month? Valentine's Day weekend just passed. It's a big time, I feel like, for a lot of people. What have you been up to?
Literally just packing. Like, it's really cold. You know, I just got back from France, my overseas commitment that I had, and I came from the south of France, and it was beautiful. You know, I was on the beach, and it was like mild weather. The sun was shining every day, and then I come to Chicago, and it's feet of snow. So I've been like stuck in the house and just focused on getting this house packed up to make my move to Atlanta.
Oh yeah, the change of weather, going from like the beauty on the beach to now being in the midst of winter storms in Chicago. So I feel you on that. In Jersey, it has been awful. I know we were talking about it before, but for anybody that doesn't know, we actually had an ice storm. It was like sleet on a whole different level. It was literally just like falling straight as ice. Everything's in. So it's been a mess. It's been pretty crazy to say the least. But I do want to get into your career specifically. I love your journey. I think everybody's journey has some story worth sharing. And when you first got started playing basketball, you know, having had a chance now to play in the WNBA, play overseas, play all across the world, you know, did you ever expect to get to this point, that you would be, as you mentioned, in the spotlight and playing in these big areas, playing the game that you love?
Mm-hmm. Not at all. I would never have expected myself to be where I'm at. Just as a woman, as a professional athlete, as a businesswoman, you know, I was always very free-spirited and very ambitious, but I just was in the moment. And I still live like that. I still live in the moment, but now I'm just more conscientious of what I need to do to make sure the future is, you know, and that's something I didn't do when I was young. So I definitely didn't expect myself to be where I am today. Not at all.
Yeah. I know it's always incredible to me looking back, and I'm like, wow, you know, when you get started, I think about my journey through sports. You know, I never would have expected the doors that would have opened, the friendships, the places you travel, like all that really comes with being an athlete. And, you know, so I think that is something that looking back on, and we are the same age, actually. Fun fact, by the way, I checked this out. Yes, I stalked and did my research. It's research, not stalking. We're like 2 weeks apart in age.
Wow.
So like I know, we're like birthday buddies, Virgos. So I feel like we're in that same point of like pinnacle of our lives at 20 in our, you know, being 28, where you're realizing just how far you've come, but also seeing how much farther you have to go. Like, it's such a crazy time. So looking back for you, having had a chance to play basketball at High Point, at Middle Tennessee State, leading to the WNBA, you had a path that was unique, you know, and I want to get into, as much as you'd like to share, of course, just how much those experiences in college really prepared you for that next step, transferring, having to be a part of 2 different programs and figuring out how to fit in each of those and finding your way, how much that really helped you in taking the next step to the professional level.
Yeah, it's a great question. You know, at High Point, it was funny because I didn't have too many schools really recruiting me out of high school. I never played a full year of high school basketball, so it was really hard for schools to even know who Cheyenne Parker was. But I also was very raw talent. You know, I blocked shots, but the potential was there, you know, and the coach at High Point seen that, Coach Tui Loy. And High Point was an opportunity for me as a rookie. I immediately made an impact. And, you know, immediately started to just improve and get better once I just started playing, you know. And then, you know, obviously High Point University, a lot of people probably don't even know that the name. So it was really important for me, you know, I made a big imprint on the school. And after my third year, I'm like, okay, I want to play professionally. At this point, I knew I had the potential to play. So I had to make that decision to move on to a school that could get me more recognition and more exposure for the, you know, WNBA scouts and the pro scouts for overseas, et cetera. So I did leave to go to MTSU, and I chose MTSU because it wasn't too big of a school. So because I really love the idea of being the underdog. That's something that's always and I'm still like, I still love that. Like, just being, you know, overlooked, underestimated. I love that. So MTSU was just, you know, a good fit for me and a good option and opportunity. And going there helped me improve as well because, you know, the coach was really, really tough on me and like required me to demand the ball every single possession. And so that kind of got my post, like that helped me with my post game and just building that confidence as a dominant post presence. That was something that started at MTSU for sure. And then once I got into the pros, it was like, you know, definitely a big transition because you go from being like the best on the court to being the best on the court with all the other best on the court, you know? So it definitely took a lot of adjusting, and it was amazing to just experience that and to be on the court with some really amazing legends, you know, and be able to play against them and experience just what they, you know, experience what they've already learned, like soaking it all in, everything they can teach you and tell you. So yeah, it was really amazing 6 years of becoming a vet, you know, because now I'm an official vet at this point.
You are you are on the other side of the hill. You're over the hill. But I do like what you say about being a big fish in a small pond. And that's something that I don't think enough athletes really take notice of and understand the value of that opportunity. You know, I remember growing up, for me playing soccer, that's actually exactly the biggest thing from my experiences at LaSalle that I take away from being able to help be a part of NCAA tournaments and winning conference championships. You know, when you have to go into a situation where everything is not laid out for you and you have to take that program to the next step, it really does allow you to grow so much as a person because you're not just there with other All-Americans and top players and things like that and five-star recruits. You are with players that are just underdogs. And I know that, Keisha, you just had a comment, love being an underdog. That underdog mentality does really fuel you to help be able to take that next step so much. So now as a veteran, looking back on when you first came into the WNBA, you get drafted in 2015 to your 5th overall pick to the Chicago Sky. And you have the opportunity, as you mentioned, to step in and play with some of the biggest names in basketball. You know, players you looked up to that are now on the court with you, that are teammates, that are going up against you. I have to know that experience coming in and now realizing, holy smokes, from New York, from High Point, from MTSU, I am here. I made it to the WNBA, and something that you never would have really imagined what that would feel like is coming into fruition. So I'm definitely curious to know how that transition was from being a big fish in a little pond to, as you mentioned, now being in the WNBA with all the other big fish and all the other top talents in women's basketball.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. You know, it was an emotional experience as well. You know, like my rookie year, for example, I didn't touch the floor much. Pokey drafted me. And she just keeps saying, trust the process. I'm like, trust the process.
Easier said than done.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and it's so it messed, at a moment it was like I questioned my confidence, and that's when I had to really just self-reflect and remember how I got there, why I got there, and just rebuild my confidence by just getting in the gym. I stayed in the gym and continued to improve my game, and I think every year that spoke for itself. And it was an exciting experience because, like I said, I was able to really be able, like, for example, the most memorable moment of my rookie year. I probably played 2-3 minutes in the game, but when I was in the game, I had the biggest block of my life. I blocked Candace Parker's shot. And it was just like, it was a big moment because Candace Parker is someone that I've always looked up to, even Tennessee days. That was just like, CP. Like, I was like, yeah, that's my
right. Right. Like, you guys are basically related,
Right. So that was like such a big moment. And that's the moment to this day that I carry with me from rookie year. And it's like little moments like that continue to happen throughout my first few years where I was like, oh, all right, well, I might be pretty good too. Like, and that's what really helped me build my confidence, just realizing like I'm tough too. Like, I'm actually a pretty good player myself. And it was amazing. And my mom, like, shout out to my mom because she always has been like my biggest supporter and my biggest motivation, and just her encouraging words and just always telling me like, believe in yourself, baby girl. Don't forget who you are. Remember who you are, and that's something that really helped me with rebuilding my confidence in who I am.
That is you just said a lot of really great things. I think one is understanding that tough transition of going from being the big fish in a little pond to barely seeing the floor at all and being told and encouraged to trust the process, and just how difficult that really is. Like, again, that is a lot easier said than done. When you are training day in and day out, when you know what you bring to the floor, when you just love playing the game, and now you're being told it's not your time yet, you're not ready yet, just keep working, keep grinding. You talk about your mom. I mean, having the right support system, coaches, family, whoever it may be, that can help you stay encouraged to that is huge. But also, even having that moment, that block that you'll never forget. And it is funny because, as you mentioned, CPCP, like, Candace Parker is definitely legendary and still iconic in how she's continuing to pave the way for other women on and off the floor. Right. So to have that play, that's something that I'm sure looking back, it's like, although you may not have had the minutes you want, that's a play that you will never forget.
Never.
That, like,
it's still on my page to this day. Still on my profile on Instagram. To this day.
I love that. Oh my goodness. That is too funny. That is too funny. And honestly, I'm pretty sure I'd be bragging, saying the same thing, like, hey, my rookie season, I blocked Candace Parker's shot. You may not have remembered anything else in my rookie season, but I did block her shot.
No, that's
I love Candace Parker. Yes, that is incredible. That is incredible. You are getting some shout outs for your shirt, which I knew was going to be the case because I love that Aaliyah shirt. So you talk about legendary.
Right.
Yeah, legendary Aaliyah. But back to the basketball side of things, also looking at that struggle of trying to figure out how to work through knowing that you're a rookie. You've got a long way to go in your career, but you're not getting the minutes you want. There's a lot of mental struggles there. You talk about your mom being a big person that was helping you get through that, having the right people around you. What else, for those that may be dealing with the same thing or in a similar situation, young athletes, what else would you tell them to help get through that grind of those lows of your career?
Just for sure to just stay in tune with who you are. Like I was saying, like the confidence thing, it's super important. Like, basketball is more mental than it is physical. The physical part, that part is, everyone's got the physical part. Pretty much everyone in the league's in shape, strong. It's more about up here. So up here is most important. So just keeping that in tune. So for me, thankfully, I was very spiritual, like, and that's something that my mom encouraged. She would send me scriptures. She would, just send me videos of a pastor giving like in a motivational speech or something. And I I really value that. Like that was something that really helped me with just staying in tune with myself. And then these latter years, what's helped me, just with my focus and staying more in tune and self-aware is meditation. That's something that I really enjoyed. Like I've really enjoyed that. Because it forces it, like the meditation like transitions me to my spiritual side. Like it kind of just all comes together full circle. So I would encourage anyone that's dealing with that to just, find your spiritual side, whatever it may be,
Amen.
however it may be, whether it's, it could be through doing different things, like finding something else to focus on. Like for me, my focus was on my brand and building my brand, and I just poured a lot of my focus into that and my emotion into that.
I love that. And finding what works best for you. So understanding that like what may work for you may be different for me, which may be different for someone else. And that's okay. That's the way it should be. But, as an athlete, there are so many mental hurdles that you have to deal with. Injuries, not playing the minutes you want, not playing the position you want, teammate struggles, whatever, changing teams. There's so many different components that go into it that it is 90% mental, honestly, especially once you get to that level. So that's incredible to even hear as you reiterate the fact that, for you, it's meditating, it's getting in touch on the spiritual side, and also just staying focused, keeping your eyes on the prize, so to speak, and understanding the journey and the process. So now that you are a veteran and are in the later years of your career, I'm definitely curious. First of all, congratulations on the incredible deal with Atlanta. That was huge. There's a lot of changes going on across the league and free agency, and it's always fun to watch this time of year. But I've got to know, for you, having played your entire career in Chicago, to now have a chance to go into a new chapter, a new team, a new family, what are you most looking forward to in this opportunity, as it's a chance to kind of start new or different, I should say, not fully new, but
it is new. It is. And it's exciting, it's very exciting because I was doing an interview the other day and I mentioned just how the stigma of, when I was at MTSU and how I, finished at MTSU, failing my drug test, getting kicked off team, possibly not even being able to play in the league. And something that was continuously said was, this was like the headline was, Chicago takes risk on Cheyenne Parker. And so it was like always a like cloud over my head with Chicago. It was just always like a stigma, like, oh yeah, that's CP, the troublemaker, the one who's not gonna last or whatever,
Wow.
So I feel like this is my opportunity to just clean slate, come out, be an athlete that is just an athlete, be a WNBA player that's just a WNBA player. I've proven that's what I am and that's what I'm capable of. So now I'm excited for the opportunity to be that type, like not have that report, that hanging over my head in any way. Atlanta, the general manager, they're and the coach, they're very clear on what they're looking for. And so they need that dominant, immediate impact. So this is an opportunity for me to be the all-star that I know I am, and really just dominate and help lead the team,
Yes. And that is something, as you bring up failing a drug test and even the headlines that go around that. I mean, one mistake, one bad headline, which led to kind of your career being identified as taking a risk. Taking a risk how? At the end of the day, it doesn't take away from who you are as a basketball player. It's not like you had a history of getting in trouble and you were like, whatever. But I do like that point that you make about having a chance to start new, where now you get to control the narrative a little bit more. You're coming into a new environment where you have had a chance to show that you are more than that one failed drug test, and you didn't let that define your career. Right. And now as a veteran, having a chance to come into Atlanta and help this team be a team that can do well, reach the playoffs and exceed some expectations of what was done in the past. So I'm glad that you bring that up, because that is so impactful in itself. So who reached out to you first? I've got to know, like, take us through, you get the news because it seems like you weren't fully expecting a move. Take us kind of through that process. Okay.
Yeah.
Take us through the process of, how you heard the excitement of hearing the news and then who reached out to you first to congratulate you and welcome you.
It was, obviously, like, initially I wanted to return to Chicago just out of my love and, and everything. But the way everything worked out, Atlanta was just the better option, in every way, for my career, for personal reasons, for business reasons. Atlanta was just the place to be. So when the decision was made, the coach and the GM were super excited. They were really excited about the entire ordeal. So they were actually the first to reach out and congratulate me. And then my teammates, they added me to the team group, and we spoke and had and I knew a good amount of them. Where a lot of us are represented from the same FAM agency, sports agency. So about 4 players on the team I already had some type of relationship with. So so that's a good thing. So that's one thing that will definitely be helpful for us when we get on the court together.
Yes. Okay. I always am curious because not everybody is always as involved, but I do love the fact that I feel like more and more players are involved in the conversations around their own future. Go figure, right? Go figure. Right. So, in looking ahead to the dream, what is it that you're hoping to be able to bring as a veteran, as a big? What are you hoping to be able to bring to this team to help them get over the hump?
Well, for sure, my energy, that's something that I pride myself off of. Like, I want to bring energy in practice every day. I just want to show that positive energy is what helps bring the vibe we need. I want to be that person. And I also want to have the impact in the games. Obviously, like just the post presence that they're looking for. They're looking for a post that can demand the ball on the block, and that's my specialty. So I'm really excited to finally just have that opportunity and be that go-to player. And then they're also looking for a post player to stretch the floor and be able to knock down the three. And so that's something that I've added to my repertoire as of recent. So I'm just looking forward to having a dominant impact and being able to play off of the players that are already on the team. They're such athletic players that I'm only going to compliment them, and I was talking the other day to another journalist that was asking, the type of guards like that we have, they're not used to really passing the ball in. Do you think that'll be an issue? And I said, I don't think it'll be an issue because the difference now is there's someone that's demanding the ball. So now when I've got somebody sealed behind me, you can't not pass that, Yes. And even if you miss it, like, I think in practice, and this is something that we'll go through in practice because it happens, with any new team that I joined, the coach has to just emphasize, hey, you missed CP on the block on that last one. Just start looking, and it's something that you have to eventually just build, like that chemistry with your team in practice, with your teammates, and it'll help them as well. It'll open them up, just getting the ball in the paint, because you know how that goes. They have to guard somebody, and it's gonna be tough. We got a great team, very athletic, very fast, and the defense is gonna be insane too. Like, we just added Yvonne Turner. So, it's gonna be fun.
That is something. That's a funny question in itself, but it is something when you think about the versatility to be able to really attack from different spots on the floor. So now that you do add even more of a presence in the paint, and you have knockdown shooters, and you have players that can get to the basket, it does make it harder to defend because you have to defend. They have to defend you straight up. You know, you can't overly focus on one aspect of your game when your team has the ability to, and especially in the half court offense, bring different looks each time you're down the floor. So, you know, I think that is something you can absolutely bring. And as you mentioned, it's an exciting time as we've, you know, been following. I always love this time of year because for the WNBA specifically, we're fully embracing that there's no off season. You as players definitely don't have an off season. You're either in the WNBA playing, you're playing overseas, you know, like there's legitimately no off season.
Yeah.
But also for those that are of us that are followers of the game, like it's just as exciting watching free agency, watching trades, watching, and even the frustrating and sad news around players like Renee Montgomery leaving the game. There's always something exciting. So I know I just hit on a couple different things, but I want to get into your thoughts on Renee. The other Renee, I often get confused for Renee Montgomery. I'm like, I played soccer. She was way better in basketball than I was. My soccer career was nothing like her basketball career. I know we have the same name, same spelling, but she's been doing, I'll take that though. I'll take that mistake all day, every day. I actually had somebody that tweeted me like, are you the one that's calling this Hawks game right now? I'm like, yep, that is me. That's me right here. But no, the legacy that a player like her has had on not only the Dream, but the WNBA, and now you coming into the mix, I'm definitely interested to know your thoughts on Renee and players like her, Cheyenne Parker, who we talked about earlier, that have really helped take this game to the next level, that it is a year-round exciting league that people need to take notice of. No more casual fans. It's time to take notice of the WNBA.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's coming, you know, it's a gradual thing that's coming, but they're helping, you know, the stuff that they're doing. Like Renee is doing so much in like outside of basketball, just getting out there. It was unfortunate to hear that she was retiring because obviously I was looking forward to playing her as well. But I'm also happy for her because now this is her opportunity to really hone in on her other passions and drives, because, you know, us girls, us athletes, we have other passions and other drives too that, you know, are pretty amazing. And so it's nice to see when players really take that on. So I'm excited for Renee.
Yes, absolutely. And the other Yes. Do you have a specific player? I know you talk about Renee, not having a chance to play with Renee. Mike Patton, who's a huge fan of yours, he's saying he can't wait to see the pick and roll between you. Yes.
I can't wait either. Yeah, I'm excited for it. I hit her up because I'm like, hey, let's get in the gym so we can start working on it. Like,
I know that's right.
Yeah, but soon when we get up out of Chicago, this snow.
Yeah. Whenever you can shovel yourself out of Chicago. But I mean, for you, what really is next? I know you talk about being involved in the team texting threads and being welcomed in, you know, of course, you're still in Chicago. You're working on getting down to Atlanta. But, you know, what's really next to start getting that chemistry, getting to know your teammates on and off the floor and building what you've had in Chicago for the last years to now bring that in Atlanta and make that transition as seamless as possible with so many new moving parts.
Yeah. I think, well, we have a team meeting. Our first team meeting is this week actually. So I think that'll help. You know, we'll get on a Zoom and really be able to see each other's face. And then I think, you know, just, you know, like kind of like what I did, you know, just I reached out as soon as I officially was able to reach out. I reached out to everyone and just sent them a personal text like, hey, let me know when you get back to town, et cetera, et cetera, so we can get in the lab and make some cash.
Yes. What?
I used that line.
I love that. And I love that you were like halfway about whether or not to go with it, and then you just went with it. Yeah.
Boom.
In the lab, making some I love it. I'm all for all those little like cheesy little gimmicky lines. In the lab, making chemistry. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna take it any further. I'm gonna let that sit there because that was great. That was so unexpected. That was great. I don't even know how to follow up on that. But what do you think is really going to be when you get done mixing in the lab, building that chemistry? What do you really think is going to be kind of like the MO of the Dream this season? You know, I know it's February, so there's still time to figure it all out.
Yeah. I mean,
of course, but what do you
think about it though? Just because
I'm sure you have.
But we're definitely going to be some dogs. Like, I said this in an interview before. Like, we're going to be some dogs. I hate to call us dogs, but that's the mentality that I want us to have, because we got some dogs. You know, like, we're going to be that team that nobody wants to play because they have to go against us. Like, our defense, I want to be like, we have the athleticism to have, you know, immaculate defense, and then obviously defense turns into transition. So we have such fast athletic players. So I think we're going to be a fast-paced team and a defensive team.
Okay. And I do love that, especially with having a number of players that have that underdog mentality also of like, it doesn't matter where we are in standings. I don't care anything on paper. When we step between the lines, I'm going to make it miserable for you. Yes, it's anybody's game, and good luck. Good luck trying to get past me. Like that edge and that confidence.
Exactly.
I do like that. In the lab making chemistry. Yes. That is awesome. So I do want to take a look back, because a big part of you being able to be where you are now, having the ability to step into Atlanta and hit the ground running, comes back to the lessons that you've learned in Chicago. You know, what do you really take away from your experience in Chicago that you think will help you best grow, not only as a player, but as a person, as a leader, as a woman, as, you know, in all these different areas of who you are?
Yeah, good question. There's so many things that I've learned being with Chicago that I'm going to take with me. Like one huge thing is Allie and Sloop. Those two, like watching them my entire career, I'm so thankful that I had two great leaders like them, because one thing they did was, for one, they always kept it professional. And for two, like, they stayed in their gym. Like they were always on, like, they were disciplined, you know, they were they always had their regimen. Like they did the same, you know, whether it was shooting before practice or after or both. Their weight, you know, they always went to the weight room. Because, you know, as a pro, it's more like you're not always necessarily like forced to do certain things.
Yeah.
You have to make the effort to do it. So for me, just having that discipline and staying consistent with it, it really shows. You know, it showed me that when you do that, like the work, like it really does, it turns over. It, you know, there's always a positive turnover. So that's something that I'm definitely going to bring with me. And, you know, leading by example, that's something that I'm going to really hone in on in Atlanta, because I want to be considered a leader. So that's one thing that I'm going to pride myself on, just leading by example, being that example leader.
I like it.
Stop hyping me up.
I'm like, let's go. You know, everybody needs that hype man. That's me. So, but no, that is something when you talk about like the discipline of really being able to have a chance to see the way that working in the lab, being in the gym all hours of the day, putting in that hours, putting up shots, how that really does help make you know, not only does it help, of course, your game, but it does really set the tone of this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to carry ourselves on and off the floor. This is the expectation. If you have a bad shooting game, you're going to go back in the gym and you're going to put up 300 shots, you know, like whatever it is, that's the bar that you're setting. So that is great that you have a chance to really take what you've learned in your experiences and now go on to the next step with Atlanta and bring that same level. So that'll be great to see how that transitions over. So for you now, as we're looking ahead, you talk about Atlanta also giving you an opportunity to grow your business. Of course, ATL, I got some questions for you on Atlanta in general, but we're going to keep it basketball for now.
Okay.
Well, actually, we're not at all. We're getting to your business. We're going to keep it business for now, and then we're going to get into those. Atlanta, obviously, is... Do I need to describe Atlanta? No. But it's a major opportunity as a Black woman, as an entrepreneur, as, you know, all these different areas. And you have your business, Born Queen Boutique, because you're a queen, because you were born in Queens, because we are queens. Okay. So I need to know more about creating this line that's motivational. And I love the term, and I actually wrote it down because it was really good. Radiating confidence and royalty, like fix your crown. That's like the vibe I was getting from it. Mm-hmm. So tell us more about Born Queen Boutique and what you are bringing through that line and that brand.
Mm-hmm. So it's an online website where I sell a few different things. Like my favorite word right here, relentless. I have this word like on a few different items, like t-shirts, sweaters, Scully hats, pretty much anything you want, like socks. And that's just all drop shipping stuff, just for, for my fans. And then I also launched a calendar back in January where it shows like my
I saw the calendar.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so that's just to show my sexy seductive side. I wanted to start with that because at the end of the day, that's what sells. And it's proven because I've sold out. I sold out. I'm going digital.
Oh, casually sold out calendars.
Sold
okay.
Out. Yep. So it was a success.
Yes.
So I'm definitely gonna do that.
Ready to shop right now.
It'll be available digitally though, so it'll still be for sale. And then I'll also be launching some supplements, some health supplements, sea moss, elderberry, and soursop capsules. That'll be the first part of my health supplements that I launch, and that's something that I'm really excited about because our health is super important, especially right now. And building our immune systems, we need to do. Our communities are lacking in these natural herbs and supplements. So I just want to be another outlet for people. And I don't want to have like crazy prices. Like some of the people that sell these things are charging crazy prices. So I want to just be that outlet that sells them for a discounted price. And so that's pretty much what I've been dabbling in on the business side. And then what I'm excited about with Atlanta is I'm planning to open a private hookah lounge, maybe more than one. Well, it pops. Yeah. Just somewhere where professional athletes could go and privately enjoy themselves, smoke their hookah, have their drink, hang out with their friends, whatever. Just like a real cool, chill vibe, like nothing too crazy, like not like too clubby, but like real chill. Maybe even have food. You never know. We'll see.
Hold on. I did not know you were doing all this. So are you thinking hookah like bring your own food or you serve some food? Because I've been in some hookah spots where it's bring your own everything, and I don't know how I feel about that.
No, I would serve food. If I were to do food, I would serve food because I have, I'm passionate about food. I like food, so my food has to be good and it has to be quality. And I like hookah, so it's a really good combination when you can have your food and then your hookah after, like, so that's the type of vibe that I go for. But yeah, we already have, I'm working on my trademark right now. And it's going to be called Private Lounge, but that's something that I was actually going to do here in Chicago, but it's so many hoops that I'm trying to jump through. And it was a blessing though, because it happened right before COVID. I was getting ready to buy a building and it happened right before COVID hit. So it was like perfect timing. It wasn't meant to be. Atlanta's the move. And I think, the demographic and the amount of hookah smoke there, it'll boom for sure. So I'm excited about that.
Ooh, I'm excited for you. Wow. I didn't know you were doing all this. You've been holding out. Yeah. When I was thinking of, of course we have to talk about your basketball career. And I was like, Born Queen Boutique is nice. I didn't know you've been selling out. I know we've got Exquisite Dame who said that she got her calendar 2 days. So there you go. But I love the fact that you were like mixing a little bit of everything, because my question to you was, the stigmas and stereotypes that come around, not only being just an athlete, but as a female athlete, and how you're kind of like expanding that narrative of you're a WNBA player, you're going to be a business owner with a booming hookah line? Lounge line? I don't know. Like if you're making multiple, I don't know. Hookah lounge to start. Yeah, I don't know. You've already got your brand of Born Queen Boutique, but you're like evolving what is a female basketball player, a female athlete, you know? So I'm definitely encourage and love that. I got so many thoughts, but Atlanta really is a happening spot as an entrepreneur to be able to grow your own business. So if hookah lounges if that's the goal, that is major. I know there's a lot of hookah smokers down in Atlanta for sure.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. All right, we do have some questions for you, and if anybody has a question, yes, you better ask now because I've got a lot of hookah lounge questions, but we're gonna let that rock. But most of you want to know high post or low block. He's very curious to know. He's actually like he's asked a couple of these. He's very curious to know. You know where do you prefer? Back to the basket? You know what's?
I mean, back to the basket is the easiest bucket, but high post is more I don't know, that's tough. I don't know. I like both. Probably low though. Probably low block.
All right. Okay. What are you most looking forward to do in Atlanta, not business?
Definitely like be able to see my family more. I'm excited. You know, my dad lives in Georgia, and my mom lives in North Carolina, so they're both really close vicinity, and I'm probably gonna move my mom to Georgia. Let's be honest. So yeah, I'm excited that, and my brothers and sisters all live close down that way. So I'm excited just to be closer to my family because I'm very family oriented. So.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's perfect. Since you've got family down that way, might as well bring mom. Come on to Atlanta. Roller skating, Cascade. Are we, you know, when I think of Atlanta, I think of ATL, I think of T.I. Are we going to get some videos and post it? I feel like that's a great shoot idea, actually. All jokes aside, from a business side, that'd be a really dope shoot if you were like roller skating, you know, whatever. Just think it out.
You know what? You just,
right?
We'll talk
right? Like I'm kind of getting a vibe. That'd be a really cool vibe for a photo shoot. I might have to go do one myself. But that's something I was thinking. That'd be awesome. Yeah. I was thinking that's a great fun thing to look forward to. They've got food, they've got roller skating
myself. So yeah, that would be cool to experience. I've never been to Cascade.
I've never been either. I've only seen it on TV. So that's the extent of my experiences. Keisha's got a question of what inspired you to create your own business. I mean, you talk about not only having your Born Queen Boutique, but also Hookah Lounge, and it seems like you're still growing. So what has really inspired you to want to take that step to grow who you are off the floor?
I think just being a woman athlete and seeing the struggle, you know, and then the way I grew up, I want to build generational wealth. You know, it's important. It's very, very important to me to do that and to be that person to break that chain. Just the way my life happened, you know, the way my life, the journey that I had, I really truly believe that I was meant for me to be the person to do it. You know, being drafted like I was, beating the odds like that, it's important to me because I feel like that I'm ordained. You know, like I feel like it's just my purpose. I have to be the one to break the generational the curse. There's this curse, and I just want to break it. And I want to try to bring as many people aboard as I can and help educate, you know, because we need financial literacy, especially in the Black community. We need to learn what financial literacy even means, you know? So it's important to me. I'm passionate about it. And so that's kind of what sparked the interest, you know?
Yes. That is something that, especially in Black families, I know I can speak on looking at my own family, but we have so many generations after generations that have dealt with the same, you know, and it's time to change that. It's time to change our awareness. It's time to change the stereotypes. It's time to show that there is more. We can be multifaceted and have a business and a career in something else. Like you can do it all. And I love the balance. You even jokingly were talking about bringing that sex appeal, but like you can bring that too. You could be on the court being a dog, and then you could be off the court and glow up.
Thank you. And that's
And
really
grow
all I
up
be
and
trying
get
to say.
yourself looking right. So I love the balance of that, because I do really feel like so many times, and I know I've dealt with this myself, people try to put us in a box. Like, you have to be this, you have to be that. And I saw this video that it's reminding me of, that was on Instagram Reels, and this woman was like, I could talk very professional, but I can also talk, like, she was like, I could code switch, but that's how you really have to be, especially as a Black woman. You have to be able to talk with some, and then talk with some. And that's not only from a talking perspective, but your look, your business, your career. You got to be able to diversify yourself in that way, that you are multifaceted. So who do you strive to be as an overall person, as you're growing in your career, as 20 great we are, or 20 great years old? I just made that up literally right now. I don't think that's a thing. 20.
That was good though.
I just made that up. It sounded better in my head. At 20 great years old, we are like in a very pivotal point where you have people that are looking up to you, but you still are growing and climbing yourself. You haven't reached it yet.
Right. Yeah.
So what is it that you strive to show others as you are growing, as you're with your brand, with your business, with your basketball career, that you are beyond just being Cheyenne Parker, the basketball player?
So for me, it's important to leave a legacy where I'm a philanthropist for sure. Giving back to the community is really important to me, especially the younger generation. Something that I talked to the GM about before I even came was like, what do we do with the community? Like, I really want to be involved and go to the schools that people don't normally want to go to, you know, the schools that are neglected and avoided. I want to go there, and I want to kids and be interactive with them, you know, get them to games, get them to different activities, get involved, you know, really get involved, really help. And that's something that I really want to leave behind, that I've helped in some way, that I've helped. And then obviously, like I talked about, building that generational wealth, you know, I want to leave that behind too, leaving that legacy that I was able to do that. And not just for my family, but also for other communities, other people in other communities. And I think overall that would be it. You know, just I want Born Queen Boutique to be like this huge company. You know, a decade from now, that's something that I really could see happening if it's done correctly and with the right team. So, like, you know, I'm very ambitious. I've always been. Like I said, I had that ambitious mind, but I still live in the moment at the same time. So that's it.
You know, I'm picturing it. You know, Born Queen Boutique's going to be having a big event launch that happens at your hookah lounge, where you have the chance to celebrate, I don't know, like a championship. Like, it's just all going to come together. You know, we're just going to speak it into existence. But I do think, as you mentioned, being in Atlanta, which has been so pivotal in politics, like whether it's the players on the Dream, which have been really leading a lot of the conversations around the fight for social justice, whether it's also just helping to be the difference in the presidential election, in so many areas of politics. You know, you talk about things really coming together for you as you were looking to build your own business. Here you are in Atlanta. You talk about getting involved with the next generation. Here you are in Atlanta. You talk about having a chance to start a new chapter where you can kind of dismiss and let go of what was an attempt to define you as the mistake in college. And here you are in Atlanta. So, you know, I love that all the opportunity that's coming with this new chapter that you have. And our final question that I do have for you, that's actually a question from Mo again, is, do you have a charity of choice? So, you know, as you're working to give back, is there a specific charity or even like an area within charity that you want to best help?
Yeah. There's a few that's a good question. There's a few that I've been actually researching. But as of right now, Rashonda Gray, she plays for LA Sparks. She just started a nonprofit, and as of right now, that's the one that I'm focusing on. Last summer, I donated to actually still this summer. Yeah, no, last summer, 2020. I donated to the Chicago. Yeah. So now, and I really love the Chicago community, the younger community, and I don't want them to feel like I'm deserting them. Like, I still want to be involved too. So I'll probably still donate to them, but I also want to get involved with Rashonda Gray's organization she just started, because she's really helping. Like, she's going and she's having people join her and getting in there in the community and really helping make a change. So it's important to me for nonprofit organizations that are really helping and not just having a title and collecting money. Like, no, I want to see actual things, like actual events or actual going and picking up trash, or going to talk to the kids, or having a free clinic for the kids who can't pay for them. You know, things like that is important to me. So that's my charity of choice.
I like it. And I even love the piece that you make about like following through, because unfortunately there are a lot of scammers out. I actually just saw and have been seeing a lot more even around the stimulus check. People are always looking for an opportunity to take advantage of something. So it is definitely great to not only be involved in charities, for anybody that's listening, be involved and make sure that it's going to the right spot. Make sure that you're doing your homework and your research. But for you, as we're looking ahead, it is 2021. I know it's been a crazy year, but to say the least. But for you, as you are stepping into so much new, you know, you're in the process of preparing to come to Atlanta. You're in the process of even traveling. You know, what is next for CP? What do you have next that people can expect for you for this upcoming year, basketball wise and professionally off the court?
Okay. Well, basketball wise, I'll start, because that's like, you know, my main focus.
Of course.
I definitely plan to be an all-star. My first all-star appearance, like, I'm speaking that into existence for sure, because I just am, you know, I know I'm capable of it. So I'm excited to really just come into my own, spread my wings, and just helping, you know, build the franchise, like all the way around the franchise, on the marketing side as well as the community, etc. And then, you know, just as far as the business and stuff, those health supplements are coming. Those will be launched soon. And then I'll just be basically striving for some endorsements. You know, the reason I launched the calendar is to get it out there, and so that someone can see me. You know, I'm trying to get it by the right person, whether it be Savage X Fenty or Ivy Park.
Oh, hold up! Wait a minute. Now we're talking big business. I love it. Into existence.
I'm dreaming big. Yep. So that's, you know, that's why, like I said, that's why I made the calendar, to, you know, just show that other side, because I'm just daring. I'm being daring. I know I'm being daring. I know it's not normal for a basketball player to have on lingerie, but I'm still a woman. Okay. So so that's really what rooted that. And so this year was the lingerie side, but I've been traveling. I'm going to Mexico. I told you, Jamaica and Alaska, to do different looks, different photo shoots with different looks, not just lingerie, but, you know, just something different, whether it be fashion or an exotic Native American style outfit, which is what I'm getting made for Alaska. So I'm excited, but that'll be the next year's calendar. You know, this is a trend that I'm starting, like, so, you know, that's pretty much it. That's what we're looking forward to.
I love all that. And, you know, I'm 5'11". I do model. Let me just put my resume out there. So when you get in touch with B and Ree and whoever else, don't forget about me.
Got you, sis. I got you.
No, all jokes aside, I love the piece that you made about really trying to expand and really trying to really break the mold. Because, again, we have so many stereotypes of being like a strong Black woman and this and that and whatever else, but you can be on the court competing, being an all-star. Hopefully, let's speak that into existence too. Being an all-star, leading the dream, leading Atlanta to really turn that corner as a franchise. And then off the court, be cute, be in your lingerie, and then also have your business. You can do it all. Okay. So it's great that as you're saying, it's so encouraging for others as you're listening and as you're going through your own journeys to understand that you don't have to just fit in one box, in one mold, and you definitely don't have to fit any stereotypes that anybody is trying to put on you. You define and you set the vibe. You figure out whatever your journey is going to be and you go after it. So I love all that you are doing. And I think that you have some great things ahead of you. I think that this is going to be I'm like feeling it. I'm feeling the positivity. Like, I feel like this is really going to be a big breakout year for you. And the best thing about it, as you've alluded to, is like, if you have the opportunity to, let's say, if you are elected to be an all-star player, it only gives more opportunity on the basketball side as well as the business. Like, it all works together. So, you know, continuing to grow in one area only pours into the others and helps you go in those as well. Yeah. So I am excited for you. And I know we have your handles on here, but where can people follow if they want to check out your digital calendar and everything? Plug where people can get more information.
BornQueenBoutique.com. That'll get you wherever you need to go.
I love it. Yes. So absolutely manifested, speaking into existence. And Cheyenne, it has really been a pleasure having you on the show. I am excited for you. And I said this last show, and I'm going to say it again, because when we had Marquette King on, I was like, look, when we have guests on the show, I've noticed there's been a track record of guests coming on, and then the next, I'm not going to give a timeline, but in the future, the near future, really whatever those dreams they were speaking on, just kind of like taking off. So I'm feeling that for you, that we're going to be sitting 6 months from now, definitely a year from now, having a different conversation. So I'm excited for you. And thank you so much for taking time to join us here on Beyond Headlines.
You've been great. Thank you.
Thank you. And for those of you tuning in, as always, be sure to subscribe to keep up with the show each and every week across all streaming platforms, as we're bringing you some great stories, just like Cheyenne's journeys, stories, trials and tribulations, and success stories, as we are going always beyond the headlines. So thank you again. And I'm excited for what's next for you.
Thank you. Likewise.